Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Sorry about last night's video. It's just gone. Okay, I've been through so much mess with it. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. I'm just gonna do this over again. But anyway, thank you so much for over 10,000 subscribers. I am feeling very blessed. Thank you so much for all that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Every time I upload a video, it means a lot, and I can't believe I got to this far. But I'll continue to make videos because I love doing this, and I'll continue, hopefully, get you informed with the DCEU, maybe even some Godzilla, and maybe, later on, Power Rangers if they ever make any more movies. But until then, Shazam has done quite well. It's over $56.8 million in domestic box office in opening weekend, so over expectations just by a little, and then 159 around the world, and so it done enough to warrant a sequel. And they've already announced it. They're exclusive to Cave from Rap, that the same writers, Henry Cavill and David F. Sandberg, is probably going to do it again, and they're going to write the sequel to Shazam. But until then, let's talk about some spoilers for Shazam. I'm going to go through a couple things that I wanted to go through last night, and it didn't really quite happen that way, or the audio was really terrible. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the darker aspects of the movie. And I kind of suggested that there were things in the movies that may get your kids scared. Now, I brought my 9 and 7-year-old to the movie, and they did get scared in that infamous office massacre slaughter scene. It sounds horrible, but it's not really that bad. You don't see any blood or anything. You do see people getting killed, possibly even a beheading, although it's done really quickly. I'm pretty sure that dude got beheaded, but the Seven Sins, actual monsters were on screen. The CGI wasn't that great, though. It was kind of lacking, kind of the texture, kind of lacking like it's actually there. It's passable for this type of movie. It's kind of reminds you of like the CGI in the Jack Black Goosebumps movies, if you will. So it's not that great, but it's passable for this type of movie. And the horror is very suggestive at best. There is a part wherein John Glover gets killed by one of the sins called greed, and it kind of looks like he just rips the guy apart, but you don't see anything. The door closes and it's done. But that's enough to scare little kids. So maybe a 5-year-old may get scared, may get freaked out and such. But my 9 and 7 kind of got out of it as soon as the other hero aspects start to come into play. And so that part was good. The hero aspects were fantastic. It plays along really well, and I've said it in my little over non-spoiler review. But I like how Zachary Levi it acts really much like a kid. He doesn't act like an adult. He actually acts like Asher Angel when he was a kid. So Billy Batson when he's a kid, and so he's got that going for him, and I think it works really well in this movie. And one of the best moments that happens in this movie is that the other kids get round up, and they also turn into Shazam characters. They come in multiple colors, and that was such a crowd-pleasing moment that I actually clapped for both the times that we were in the theaters. My kids loved it. They want to get all the other figures that comes with the Shazam figures: the blue, Mary, the green, and the purple, Darla, the purple, and the gray. I thought it was quite an awesome moment. It's a Super Sentai Power Rangers. For me, that moment really worked for me, and I loved seeing it every time. It was like the Wonder Woman saving Batman part for me, from Batman v Superman, and it was really awesome. It was really emotionally awesome to see that happen to these heroes, and they all get together to kick butt. They all get together and fight off the monsters and such like that. And noticeably that each one also had a certain aspect of the power, right? The Asian kid, I forgot his name. He does the Hadouken, which was with the lightning bolt, and then the one in the green, I can't remember his name. He had had the super Herculean strength. He held up that Ferris wheel. Darla is also super speed. Mary, I'm not too sure what her power is, and maybe it's a balance of all of them, just like Billy himself. But that's not quite clear. And Freddy, of course, can fly. So I think that was his main superpower. I would think everybody had the same amount of powers, but it does look like they took an aspect of each of the Shazam powers, and then maybe even, like my friend suggested, weakening the first Billy a little bit. And he was able to go toe to toe with Savannah because Dr. Savannah only had one sin left in him, and so that was the whole thing where all the seven sins came into Dr. Savannah, and he becomes more powerful. But because they all kind of left him, he becomes mortal. He becomes just a non-powered, superpowered person. And so that was the whole deal with that. So that was an incredible moment for that, and I'm glad that happened. That of all the Shazam family, that was a surprise. I think they never showed you that in the trailers. They never showed you the seven sins either. And I thought that they hid that really well, and I'm glad they did, because it's more of a movie than that was. The comedy, like I said, there was most of it's very natural. It's very natural comedy. It's something you'd hear from kids. When kids do say or do certain things, it seems natural. The only one time where it didn't seem natural and it felt like they were just plopped it in there was when Shazam or Billy actually caught the bus, right? The bus came down, he catches the bus, and he's going to put it down, then there's a dog in the way. And that, I thought, was kind of like they threw that in there for a comedic effect that really didn't need to be there. He could have left from catching it and then putting it down, which it kind of looks like after that one cut scene out. If they cut that dog part out, then it looks like it just flows nicely where he just puts it down. So I thought that was kind of cool. But it's not as bad as, like, say, I could have peed on it in Aquaman. It doesn't have too much silent and then comedic bang to it. And I'm be honest, I didn't laugh that much in this movie. There was some cutesy moments and stuff, but I didn't laugh that much. It wasn't all that funny. It was a little chuckle here and there, but it's not as funny as people are talking about how this comedy is going. It's actually a little bit darker and a lot more emotional stakes in here than what people have come to surmise. And maybe it's because I'm a parent. There's this one scene where Billy talks about his mother, and he remembers getting that little compass ball, right? And he gets it from his mother after the mother wins this what is that balloon popping game, and then when he remembers her, she seemed nice when she was talking to him, like a very nice motherly talk to him. But when it has a flashback of how she thought it happened, it's different. Her perspective, she was a little bit mean. She was a little bit irritated when he wanted the tiger, right? So that kind of got to me, because it really shows the innocence of children, and how they would perceive and how they would react to different things that their parents have done. Because of their innocence, they don't think they're really the parents are being mean or irritated at all. They just think of it a certain way. They remember it a certain way. And I thought that was really sweet that they had done that, because that's probably true. And it's really heartbreaking to see him run away, and she's trying to find him, and then not try to find him, come to find out that she really left him with the police. That was really heartbreaking. I tear up every time I saw that. Those two times I saw that, my wife as well, and we really brought our kids in to hug him a little bit for that. And so that was an emotional moment for me. May not be for everybody, but as a parent, that really affected me and my wife. And so that part was the best part, and I love that. I love the aspect of having these issues about family, how people talk about their mothers and things like that. I love those aspects that within the DCEU, DC films, and foster parents as well. The foster parents, it's kind of like Jonathan and Martha Kent taking in Clark Kent, right? So or Kal-El, and I love that they put the importance of, if your parents are near, their foster parents can well take up that place and be your goal, be your centerpiece, or if you will, be your flagship. I don't know how you would explain, but it's a be your center when your real parents are not there. And so there's aspect of family is very much alive in this movie, and that's something I thoroughly enjoyed out of this Shazam film. Now, with the success of Shazam, oh, actually, before we get into that, there's two more things that I want to talk about, and that is one, the post credit scene. The mid post credit scene is that of Mr. Mind, the caterpillar that you see here and there throughout the movie. One, he was there in the jar, then he's not there, and my wife was like, "Why are they focusing on a caterpillar?" Well, this is because that caterpillar shows up at the end, talks to Dr. Savannah, and that is Mr. Mind. It's one of the stronger, not stronger, but the one more, I guess, more arch nemesis to Shazam with the seven realms, and it's something that is quite appealing if they're gonna go to that in the sequel, which they are starting to make. And if they are, that sequel is gonna be really bonkers, I would think, because if they're gonna go seven realms, they're gonna go all these different types of kingdoms and stuff, otherworldly. They're probably gonna need a bigger budget, and it's gonna be quite a ride. It's gonna be an adventurous type of movies, probably more so than we think, or maybe not. I don't know, but I'm very excited to see what that Shazam sequel is gonna look like. I'm having him go against Mr. Mind and all the other monsters that are be unleashed in this movie, in the next movie. And I don't know if it's gonna have Black Adam or not. We'll see. But speaking of Black Adam does appear in the movie just for a little bit, and it does look like it's shaped like Dwayne Johnson. And Dwayne Johnson apparently, or Black Adam actually, is responsible for unleashing the seven sins. And so it kind of leaves you wondering how that movie will turn out. Well, Dwayne Johnson did go on Instagram, and he did thank everybody for talking about Shazam and watching Shazam, and he's pretty proud of it. And then he's saying that him and Seven Bucks Production, which consists of him, Hiram Garcia, and Danny Garcia, are really took a risk. You know, they wanted to do a Black Adam, they wanted to do a Shazam Black Adam movie, but he called up Toby Emmerich and said that we're really gonna split this up. There's really gonna be two movies, and then we're gonna have to build it up to that Shazam, the Black Adam movie. So they did Shazam first, and then they're gonna do Black Adam, and he did confirm that they're gonna be shooting within a year or in a year. And so they're really going full steam ahead with that, and I can't wait to see that. And wait to see Black Adam actually be that. I mean, Dwayne Johnson casted as Black Adam for a long time coming, and it's finally probably going to happen pretty soon. And I think this works out. I think it works that having Shazam, this kind of child story, actually gets a solo film first. Get that out of the way, gets you involved with the Shazam family, and then Black Adam will come in here and knock it down, right? It's gonna be like he's gonna do the knockdown on that, and they're gonna have a lot to fight. They're gonna have difficulty fighting him. Whether he's going to be involved with Mr. Mind or Mr. Pine's going to be a different story. I really want to see that Shazam Black Adam fight, and hopefully that's being planned later on. But also, not only that, but Superman, right? I want Superman to go head to head with Black Adam, and not be able to fight him, so he'll need the help of magical heroes like the Shazam family, or just Billy Batson himself, and that way they'll have that three-way fight, and that'll be super insane. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Speaking of Superman does appear in Shazam all the way towards the end of the movie, but before the credits rolled. This is a big topic because it kind of, some people may look at it as something bad and some people may look at it as something good. I want to be more optimistic side, so I'm going to say it may be good, but I can say disappointing in some aspects. When at towards when the and then the film when Freddy wants to get his the Billy Batson to show up at the cafeteria, he finally does. So Shazam shows up and everybody can see that Shazam's there. Shazam also brings in Superman. So Freddy turns to the right, and in walks a person in a Superman suit, in the Henry Cavill Superman suit, and we have this little bit of the John Williams score that is just little. You can hear a little bit of it as he walks in. Silence. You don't see who the head of Superman. He just stands there. Freddy turns and he's like, "What?" And then it cuts and it ends. So for that being said, I think just that little thing kind of worked because of the reactions in the audience for both times I saw this in theaters, is that people were really excited for Superman. When Superman came out, I heard an audible gasp. I heard some cheers in the first showing, and some people were seemed happy and delighted to see that Superman showed up in this movie. And a lot of people say it may be was it because of the contracts that he couldn't show his face and things like that. Well, Peter Safran and David Sandberg have acknowledged that during the time they wanted to shoot this, it was a small window of opportunity, and Henry Cavill wasn't available to shoot that scene, which I don't know if they're playing coy or being political, but David Sandberg appears to me like a really decent guy. Okay, he is from the YouTube days. He was in the YouTube days when I was in college, and just to see him make it to this point is incredibly awesome. But you can see that he's really down to earth. He's like any of us YouTubers, and so I tend to want to believe him when he says that he really wanted to shoot it. He really wanted to do that Superman thing to work. He wanted Henry Cavill to be there and have a talk with Billy Batson, with Zachary Levi. And I tend to believe that that's what he really wanted to do. But because of scheduling conflicts, which happens in things like movies, I can say maybe that's what happened. I also noticed the Superman suit was a little bit different. On the left and right side, near the belt area, it was red and yellow, not silver. And it's like an upgrade to the Michael Wilkinson costume, which is interesting. And now I think these aspects are good for a possible Henry Cavill return, or maybe he has never left. Henry Cavill still as Superman. One, Zachary Levi did say Henry Cavill is absolutely still Superman. Two, David F. Sandberg wanted to use Henry Cavill, and instead of casting a new Superman or not using Superman at all, or using a different outfit for Superman, no, he had Zachary Levi's stunt double wear the Henry Cavill suit in order to show that this Superman in this world is the Man of Steel, is the Zack Snyder version of Superman, with a little bit of added detail, which I thought was interesting. Why would they go into that route to add a little bit of detail to the suit? And to me, I'm often optimistically thinking that they are ready and they want to make a new Superman movie. They have a suit that is ready for the next Superman movie, and they want to use Henry Cavill. That's why they didn't show his face, because they're scheduling conflicts. They weren't going to reshoot him. They're not going to reshoot with a new Superman yet, if ever. And just like the whole Will Smith thing with Deadshot, they totally instead of having Idris Elba be Deadshot, they're just gonna not have Deadshot as character because of the scheduling conflicts. And just like Jared Leto's version of Joker appears in Birds of Prey, but because of scheduling conflicts, he's shooting Morbius. He wasn't able to shoot as Jared Leto in that movie in Birds of Prey. So I think these things things, they're opening up the possibility of these actors to return as their parts, and I think that's a great thing. And the biggest, most optimistic reason to think that Henry Cavill will return as Superman is the producers. The producers of Shazam is Dwayne Johnson, Hiram Garcia, and Danny Garcia, who are also the reps for Henry Cavill. And they, being that they're the reps for Henry Cavill, they've got a lot of leverage. They've got a lot of opportunity to get Henry Cavill back. They have every right and every reason to bring Henry Cavill back as Superman, and that gives me a lot of optimism that Henry Cavill. They just got to get a new story, maybe a new director, maybe knowing where they're headed. Perhaps Superman's going to be a kind of like a not cameo, but like a side character to Shazam verse in Black Adam or in Shazam itself before moving on and to get his own movie. I really do hope he gets his own movie. I hope he gets gets his own movie. But until then, I'll take anything with Henry Cavill as Superman, and hopefully he can get those contracts in place. Because right now he's actually has one movie on his contract, if there's no other contract. And since his face was not in the Shazam movie, that means it's open for another movie and possibly a larger role in a Superman down the line, perhaps in the Supergirl film. Who knows what's going on with that? But in any case, Shazam seems to be a success. They are making Shazam 2. They're going ahead with full steam ahead with that. So that's something I can be truly happy for, and seeing that this world flourish a little bit more as it continues to converge with the rest of the DCEU. Now, that is it for Shazam and the Shazamverse. I just want to remind everybody that there is the Release the Snyder Cut Twitter video campaign that Barry Monatakik, I totally butchered the last name again, but we've got that going, and he's pretty much championing it. I see a couple videos that went out already. If you could re-release, retweet that video on April 22nd, Easter Monday. We're trying to get this going, trending on Monday, 4/22. Wherever you are, tweet it out. We'll retweet it out. Hashtag Release the Snyder Cut, at Warner WB Pictures, at WB Home Entertainment, at Warner Media Group, at Justice League WB, and of course at RT Snyder Cut. And let's get that Twitter campaign, video campaign going. Show them that we're actual people. Show them that we're not some bots. Show them we're not just words. Show them our face, our voice, if you want to. And if you don't want to share that yourself, or say who you are and where you come from, you can send that to me, and I'll tweet it out for you so that it doesn't connect to your Twitter name, if you so please. Or send it to at RT Snyder Cut, and we'll try to see if we can release that for you on that day. But it's going to be a lot of retweeting that day, and I'm going to be busy doing that. And it seems like tomorrow, or whenever you probably see this, there may be something very interesting from the Film Exiles group. Dr. Vinaldo and, of course, James or Jack Burton, and a whole bunch of all the other Film Exiles guys have something special in store for us, it seems, and it's related to Justice League Snyder Cut. It's an exclusive. I don't know what it is. It may be something to do with Darkseid, seeming like what they've been hinting at. I'm quite excited for it, but I'm trying not to get too excited for it. It could be more stills or something like that. But anything to keep the conversation with Release the Snyder Cut in motion, I am all for it and happy for it, and I'm really excited to see what that is. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.